Hello and welcome to a very special new Tinto maps, a rather unique one as well, I will say, because today we're looking at Oceania, Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Pacific Islands, etc. And today it's unique and special because we have 0 countries that are playable in this region, which is different to all of the other Tinto maps. There has always been at least one country that has been available to play, as in all the previous maps. So, what differences that will make to the map? Well, we will go and jump in and see. Now, if you're wondering what this rectangular doodad is in, we'll look into that. They do explain it in the thread itself. A lovely little island down there that does not exist on Google Maps. I looked, but it has been explained. And without further ado, let's jump in and check it out. Hello, welcome to another Friday devoted to map worship. You remember me, Pavia, from previous Tinto maps, as Roger has been dutifully taking care of the last 6 dev diaries. Alright, Pavia's back. Nice. I can reuse his image on thumbnails, because I didn't have one for Roger. He's focusing on some other tasks, and Pavia will be in charge of the last 4. Okay, we have 4 left. Is 4 including this one, or 4 starting from next week? We'll see. As it's planned that the Tinto maps will be over by Christmas, doesn't mean that they'll be done with Tinto maps, though. For Project Caesar, they'll be continuing to post the feedback posts in the next few months, and the next one will be on the Balkans. Good to know. This was a thread that everyone expected to be an absolute flaming pile of anger, but it was actually kind of chill compared to what people thought. But anyway, countries, none. Very different map today, as there are no regular countries in the entire region. They're all societies of pops. Also, down to the right, it's not a linear Atlantis, but the 3D material testing island, where the 3D artists test how the different combinations of terrains look in game. That's awesome. That's a really interesting way of testing that stuff. So I really want to see. I really want to see the 3D map. I'm so excited for that. But let's move on. It may be relevant to repeat the guidelines for how to categorize countries and societies. So, settled countries, which there are none of. Organized through states, which implies a public power holding the monopoly of violence, tax collection, public works, and a writing record and keeping systems. Societies of pops, which is what we're having here. They lack a state properly, but that have some complex organizational features, such as, not necessarily all, but some, chiefdomly authority, permanent settlements, agricultural development, and some kind of taxation. And then we have non-tag cultures, so when you have uncolonized land, that is no societies of pops, but there are people there. Simple societies, usually hunter-gatherers or shifting agriculturalists. They don't organize around power structures, but through horizontal ones, and their pops won't be part of any tag, like EU4 natives. So, societies of pops, what have we got here? Hawaii is actually being included. It's way... I feel like this isn't Oceania anymore, but sure, why not? Societies of pops... Hawaii has, 6 different societies of pops, which is really cool. And then I can't even place what I'm looking at right now, but more islands, Toratan people. And what do we got here? The Cabuans and the... Can't read that, it's too small. And then we have New Zealand. There are plenty in the north, for sure. That's quite nice to see. There are a few societies of pops in Oceania. The 3 main hubs: Hawaii, Fiji, Samoa, Tonga. Okay, that's what we're looking at, and New Zealand. It would be interesting in hearing the feedback on the matter nonetheless. So, yeah, if you have feedback, if you have knowledge of any of these places and the native peoples of these places, they would be much appreciated if you would write it on the forums. Let's have a look at the locations we have here in New Guinea. That is, I feel like, less locations than I was maybe expecting. Maybe there's just a bit more jungle, or maybe a bit more wasteland area than I was expecting. But then again, in EU4, a lot of it is very, very rough terrain and wasteland, so it makes sense. That annoys me, though. This part here annoys me, that you can't go from north to south. It's so close. It's so close. Straight crossing, maybe. And then Australia makes sense that the internal part is completely uninhabitable. Yeah, Australia, a good joke about Australia that I've heard before. I don't know if I'd call it good joke, actually. A joke that I've heard about Australia. It's like a children's drawing in reverse. They fill out the edges, but they don't do the internal bit. They didn't color in the middle. I think that was, I forgot his name now. The pub landlord. Anyway, moving on. Decent amount, very, very decent amount of locations here. More than I was expecting. Australia in EU4 was kind of awkward. And it looks like as well, can we go around the whole island, the entire coast? We can. I don't think that was possible in EU4. So that is actually really, really nice to see. Tasmania here being, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 locations instead of one province, as in EU4. Crazy stuff. And then in New Zealand, large amounts of wasteland there as well. But yeah, looking really cool, looking good. And then, holy balls, that is just crazy to look at. Of course, we have the sea lanes, and then each individual island, it looks like, is getting its own location. That is crazy. That is actually so insane. And like, look at the locations over here. Like, that is multiple locations on this little archipelago islandiness thing over here. Very, very nice. Hawaii, it's not one location, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 islands. Sorry, 9 locations for Hawaii. That's crazy. I do find that kind of insane. I love it, but it's insane. Got some more there. Loving it. This is very interesting as an island. The coastline, very uninhabitable. Internals, habitable. That's cool. I have no idea what I'm looking at, but that's cool. I like it. Yeah, plenty of different maps today to be able to show off as many different regions as possible. Highly work in progress, and some of the islands may end up dying because of their size and being unimportant. By the way, if you may notice, some of the islands are weirdly rounded up. That's because they have a different type of terrain, atoll, which is the last one that we're able to add to the game in due time during the development process. Very cool. Atoll terrain. There's the terrain test island. I love that it's got a little marker as well. This is the provinces map mode. And again, I think internal wastelands really shouldn't be part of provinces unless there is some kind of big problem with having it be provinceless. Then it really, really needs to change, in my opinion. I don't think wastelands should be a part of provinces. It's misleading, let's say. So I hope that changes. Yeah, because this is not the size of the province. This is not the size of the province. Not the size of the province. It's just awkward. I don't like it. I don't like that they're a part of. Like, maybe keep it in its own kind of province, but don't group it with actual locations, right? But yeah, other than that, I think it looks pretty cool. Like, what is this? That's, yeah, I don't know. I will probably keep harping on this. It makes sense to keep harping on it. In looking at the areas of Australia, and here we see basically the problem people had with the Philippines being called the Philippines, and there was a bit of back and forth in my comment section, which I obviously love, and, you know, if you have comments, then please do leave them there. But I'd said basically that, you know, endonyms are preferable where possible, and I do not like the idea of the Philippines being called the Philippines because it's named after a Spanish king that has not been born yet and won't be born for hundreds of years. So calling it the Philippines in the game is awkward. It is weird. And then we move to Australia, and we've got South Australia, East Australia, Northern Territories, Northwest, right? I don't see a Victoria here, you know? So the problem that I have with the Philippines is not present in Australia. This is fine. This is perfect. I'd even be like North, I don't know, North Indonesian atoll, not atoll, archipelago, like, would be preferable to Philippines, in my opinion. But again, I would like to see your thoughts on that one. The New Zealand Sea includes all this land, and it jumps over, and it also includes this. Sure, why not? But yeah, this is It's very colourful. It's very colourful is what I'll say. Terrain map mode. Looking at this now, we have... What is that kind of ocean? Also, look at that. I'm sorry, you can't see it there. I'm looking at the testing terrain island. I just find it very, very funny. It looks cool. But yeah, lots of arid and tropical. In the south of Australia, we have oceanic. I guess that's what this ocean is also, oceanic ocean. Then I don't know what this kind of ocean is, but we will maybe find out when we move to looking at other maps. A Mediterranean, that is this one here, cold arid ocean here. This one is Mediterranean again. This one, no, it's not the same as this one. This one here is subtropical. This one here is a tropical ocean. Yeah, maybe the next map will enlighten it. No, it won't, actually. So what could that one be? Because it's not oceanic. It's definitely not... I don't think it's Arctic. It could be something like... I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think it is. And definitely don't click my back button. Here we have the topography, and it's very flat in Australia with a few mountains. Mountains in the center of... What's this island called? Like, is it New Guinea? Is what the island is called? Papua Island, maybe? I'm not sure. This part of the world, I have actually got quite little amount of knowledge about. But again, testing island looking very funny. Yeah, but lots of ocean, deep ocean, and this definitely needs changing so that when I'm looking at the topography, I'm not seeing ocean being over the top of other things. Definitely, it needs a little bit of tuning. A little bit of tuning where the text is showing up. Now you notice the purpose of the terrain testing island. It's to look funny. That's the only reason, right? It's the only reason. But yeah, no, I do find it quite cool. Lots of desert, forest, grasslands. Got jungle here as well in Australia. Lots of jungle in Papua. Wetlands there, I think I see. Very cool. And then the development map mode. Zero. Just zero, just across the board, zero, I guess. Not a very developed region in 1337, indeed. As for natural harbours, though, you can definitely see why Australia placed its biggest cities where they did. That definitely makes sense. And then some just like average ones in Papua, and then a few in northern island of New Zealand as well. And then Oahu is where, yeah, Pearl Harbor is. Makes sense. Definitely makes sense. As for cultures, right? Because this place doesn't have any countries you can play, but their pops are there. So they do also have cultures. And holy shit, there is a culture per location. This is wild. This is actually so insane. One culture per location is seemingly what we're getting here. And the same for Australia. I'm not gonna lie, I feel quite ignorant here. I obviously knew that there were native... I don't know what the current acceptable word for it is. And I don't really want to say the word in case it's not acceptable anymore, but it begins with an A. If that is a currently acceptable term, then I apologize for not saying it. But I obviously knew that the natives of Australia weren't just one monolithic entity, but I did not know at all it was like this. That there were so many unique cultures. That's kind of wild to me, but yeah, that's awesome. And then the largest one here being Noongari in the south. Did we see the Societies of Pops? We did at the start, didn't we? Here we have the more cultures, very cool. And then as for languages, these guys all speak... Oh, that's going to be very difficult to... What is that? It's illegible in the way that it's spread out. But lots of different cultures... lots of different languages in the north. In the south, we've got whatever that is. And then Maori on the islands of New Zealand, of course. Papua is not the most homogenous place in the world, language-wise. Yeah, you could say that. A culture per location is wild. And then religions. Oh my gosh. They've split animism into several cultural confessions, which they now want to recombine into broader families. So again, suggestions are welcome. Yeah, we split up animism so that everyone gets their own unique religion. There's so much diversity. There's actually an insane amount of diversity. And again, it kind of looks like more than is necessary or desired here. Raw materials. Let's have a look at what we have. Legumes, livestock, some fish, fruit, pearls. Very cool. Makes sense. Northern, or just the whole of Australia, actually. A good bit of gold that I see. Kind of nice. We have gems that I see. We have copper, stone, and coal. So this is actually going to be that's a lot of coal, actually. This might be a very good place to colonize for that reason alone. And obviously, Australia is pretty famous for the amount of gold that comes out of it. This is actually silver here, copper. There is a lot of very nice resources in Australia. Gosh damn. New Zealand, wild game, fish, fruit, legumes. Not quite so resource rich there. And then looking further over, fruit and stone, not too much on these atolls. I'm kind of sad that the island where Pearl Harbor is does not have pearls. I don't know if it would make sense for it, but whatever, I guess. I can be sad about it, let me alone. Resources are, in general terms, quite basic food-oriented ones, although Australia is more varied, obviously, and there are some very rich areas for pearls. As for markets, most of it is in Ternate and Goa. Interesting, okay. But very, very bad access to those trade markets. Ternate is the main market of the western part of the region, although you may notice there's very little access in most of the locations. And population. There are some issues with the population distribution map of the region this week, letting you know that the total population is 1.8 million people. And that's all for today. If you want more detailed maps of a given area, just let them know. So yeah, something like, what is the language Southern Australia? I would like to know that. I was hoping that it would be written, but you know. But yeah, very cool. Next week, they're looking at North America. All right, so 4 maps left, or 3. I don't know if this counts as part of those 4. So I'm thinking, if it's 3, North America, Central America, South America. If it's 4, no, I think it's got to be 3. I think it's got to be 3. He'll be in charge of the last 4. He's in charge of this one. I think it's 3. North, Central, South America. That's cool. I'm looking forward to that. And, yeah, I am... Oh, this map is interesting because, obviously, this is not a place where I can say, so, which tag are you most interested in playing in this region? Because there are none. But I think I am far more invested and interested in the colonization of Australia in this game than I have been in any campaign I've ever played in EU4. I don't actually know. I mean, I know that I have fully colonized Australia before, but I can't. I've played colonizers dozens of times. I don't think I've done it more than once. So yeah, certainly an interesting region. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you sad that there are no tags here? It would be my question to you. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and if you would like to see more Tinto mapness, then feel free to hit the subscribe button. Next week we'll be having a look at the Balkans rework thread, so that will be quite an interesting one. And yeah, then on Wednesday we have another Tinto Talks. So I will see you next week. Bye bye. Actually, no, I'll see you for Tinto comments on like frickin' Sunday or something. It'll be coming. I will see you, and for another video in a couple of days. Toodaloo. Bye bye. I'm rambling. Bye.